Moving takes a lot of energy. Grieving takes a lot of energy. If you are moving and grieving at the same time, then this video is for you. Most people will rank moving as one of the most stressful events of their lives, but when you are moving on top of grieving, it takes the stress to a whole new level. So if your move is a result of or connected to a death in the family, a divorce, a job loss, or a diagnosis, or some other loss, I want you to know that I see you. I made this video so that you would know that you're not alone. I have been through moves in pretty much all of those categories, and here is what I wish that someone had told me when I was grieving and moving. The first thing that I wish that someone had told me when I was grieving and moving is to take extra good care of my physical body. A lot of times we think about moving as being really physical and grieving as being really emotional, but the truth is that they are both. So moving is not only physical, it's also emotional. And grieving is not only emotional, it's also physical. It's really hard on your body. And if you're trying to do them both at the same time, it's understandable why it would feel completely overwhelming. It starts to just feel like too much. So this is the time where I would have told myself, drink lots of water, take naps, do whatever you need to do to take care of your physical body, whether that's getting more rest or eating more nourishing food, whatever it is to make sure that you are not burning yourself out physically, because both grief and moving are both emotional and physical, and they're both really hard. The second thing that I wish that someone had told me when I was grieving and moving is to seek out additional support. So in a perfect world, you would have someone that you could call to come and sit with you in person, to be with you while you pack, while you grieve and pack at the same time. If that is not possible for you, or maybe the person that you're grieving is the person that you would have asked to do that, that can be especially heavy. So the second best alternative is to connect with someone virtually, maybe FaceTime or Zoom, or even just text someone and say, hey, I'm really going through a hard time right now. Would you mind being my check-in buddy so that I don't burn out during this move? It's so important to connect with other human beings when you're going through both grieving and moving, but especially when you're doing them at the same time. And if that doesn't work, if you don't have anyone to come and be with you physically or virtually, then the next best thing, it is a distant next best thing, but it is to turn on some videos and do some body doubling, which is where you turn on a YouTube video or something like that, and it makes you feel like there's someone there with you. That can also be really helpful. Just knowing that you are not alone is one of the most important things right now. And with that in mind, don't hesitate to reach out for professional support as well. There's no shame in seeking out counseling, finding someone who can sit with you in your pain and help you walk through it, because you are going through so much right now, and the number one thing that you need is support. Wherever you can find it, however you can get it, the more support you can find, the better. Another thing that I wish that I had known when I was moving and grieving is to give myself more time, more help, more breaks, and more grace. Let's break each one of those down. More time. Most people really underestimate how much time it is going to take to move. They underestimate how much time it will take to pack and to load and to clean and all the aspects that go into moving. But if you are grieving at the same time, then you need even more time, because your body is moving a little bit more slowly typically when you're grieving. So you need to allow yourself that extra margin, that extra time. Now, I know this is not always possible, because maybe the reason you're moving is that you are in a rush, it is an emergency, you have to get out right away, or maybe you're fleeing a bad situation. If that is you, I want you to know that I see you, and just do the very best that you can. But if you have any leeway, any wiggle room with some margin to give yourself some extra time, I would really encourage you to do that. Even with a regular move where people are not grieving, I always say double the amount of time you think it's going to take. So if you think something's going to take a day, give yourself 2 days. If you think it's going to take a week, give yourself 2 weeks. But that is especially true if you're going through a hard time emotionally. And then for help, make sure that you are giving yourself extra help as well. So if you think you're going to need 2 people to help you pack, ask 4. If you think you're going to need 5 people to help you load the truck, ask 10. Always ask for twice as much help as you think you're going to need. And again, that is especially important if you are moving and grieving at the same time, because it can all just feel like too much. And the more you have people come and literally help lift your load and lighten that burden, the easier it is all going to be, both the moving and the grieving. Give yourself more breaks than you think you're going to need. Sit down more often, take deep breaths, drink your water, make yourself a cup of herbal tea or whatever it is that calms your system. Make sure you are giving yourself breaks, even if it's just to step outside for 2 minutes and look at the horizon and just recenter yourself. I know it might sound silly, but all of those things really do help. If you take those more frequent breaks, you will actually get more done if you take more breaks. And then don't forget to give yourself tons of grace. You are going through so much right now. You're going through two major events at the same time. So it's important to be gentle with yourself. It might not look perfect. It might not look the way that you want it to. It might not look like the way that you typically do things, and that is all okay. Massive amounts of grace for yourself and permission to do it all imperfectly. The next thing that I wish I had known about grieving and moving is that grief is not a linear process. It doesn't go in a straight line. Have you ever been to the doctor or the hospital and they ask you to rate your pain on a scale of 1 to 10, or they ask you to point to a little face on a chart? Which one do you feel, the sad face or the happy face? I never answer that question, by the way. I always just say, I don't do numbers. And sometimes the medical staff doesn't like it when I say that, but I just say, hey, it hurts. I can't give it a number. It just hurts. And the reason I don't give it a number is that pain is very subjective. So my 9 might be your 4, or your 7 might be my 3. It doesn't matter. We all feel pain differently, and it doesn't go in a straight line. So I've had experiences with insurance companies saying, oh, well, on this day you said your physical pain was an 8, and on this day you said it was a 4, and then you went back again and you said it was a 7. So it should be always getting better. And if it's not always getting better, you must be lying about how injured you are. So I just don't answer the question because I know that healing is not linear. Grief is not linear either. You're going to have your good days and you're going to have your bad days. And maybe right now you are really going through it. Maybe you're right in the middle of it and you can't even imagine having one good day. If that is you, I want you to hear me when I say you will have good days again. There will be days where you will find yourself laughing, smiling, and even though right now you might feel like you're never going to smile again, if you can't believe in having good days right now, that's okay. Believe in having good moments. Maybe right now you don't have your good days and your bad days because all the days feel bad, but maybe you can have good moments and bad moments, and it is all okay. It's all part of the process, and it doesn't have to go in a straight line. So if you're preparing for a move and you're also carrying a really heavy heart, just know that every day doesn't have to be better and better than the one before. You don't have to feel stronger and more hopeful and more optimistic every single day. You're allowed to have bad days and you're allowed to have bad moments. Also, remember that smiling is not a sign that everything is okay, and crying is not a sign that you're failing. So sometimes our outward expressions and emotions don't really convey what we are feeling inside. And if you do have a day where you just need to break down and cry, that's okay. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean that you're regressing or that you're losing ground. It just means that your emotions that day happen to be coming out in liquid form, and it is all allowed. Another thing that I wish that I had understood better while moving and grieving is that there are both primary and secondary losses. So let me give you an example. When my husband lost his job, that was a primary loss. It was a massive change in our lifestyle. We had 5 young kids at the time. We were living in what we thought was our forever home. My husband lost his job, and we held on to that house for 51 weeks with 5 kids and no income, and it was hard. And eventually we had to let it go. So the house, losing the house, was a secondary loss. Now, maybe you are grieving a primary loss, like a death in the family, or a diagnosis, or a job loss, or a divorce. And maybe this move feels like another loss on top of it. It's like another death. Maybe you're leaving a house that you never wanted to leave, and you're having a really hard time letting go of it. That is totally normal, and you are allowed to feel whatever you feel. You're also allowed to feel more than one thing at the same time. Maybe you feel some relief. Maybe you're getting out of a bad situation, so you feel some relief about that, but you also feel anxious or nervous for the future. Maybe you feel happy and sad at the same time. That's totally normal. You're not losing your mind. That's just part of the process of grieving. It's okay to feel more than one thing at once, both with primary and with secondary losses. So remember, have plenty of grace for yourself right now. When we lost that big, beautiful dream home, the house that we thought was our forever house, it felt like another death. It felt like losing a child, and I know what that feels like. And it might sound like I'm exaggerating to say that losing a house felt like losing a child, but we had poured our whole hearts and souls into that house, and we wanted to keep it forever. We thought we would be able to keep it forever. And then finances dictated otherwise. So it was important for us to find ways to remember the house. We went through each and every room, the whole house, every square foot of it before we left. We took pictures, we took videos, we said goodbye to every part of the house. And for me, that was really important for closure. So whatever it is for you, make sure that you find a really meaningful way to let go of the house or the place that you're moving out of, whether that's taking pictures or videos or journaling. It's important to just recognize that this is a loss. So if moving is feeling like a loss for you, that is totally normal. Remember, be very kind to yourself. We live in a society where we are taught to escape sadness, move away from the sadness, don't step into the grief, don't feel it, don't lean into it. When my son died, someone gave me this book called Understanding Grief, and there's a quote in here that I really love that was super helpful to me at the time. I want to share it with you in case it's helpful to you too. It says, as you are willing to move toward your sadness, you will discover continued meaning and purpose in life. So as you move toward the sadness and not away from it, you'll begin to discover renewed purpose and meaning in life. That doesn't mean that you have to make yourself feel sad on purpose. It does mean that leaning into the feeling and allowing yourself to feel whatever you need to, at least for me, has been very helpful. It's been really healing to just be honest about the way that I feel. Even if I'm in the midst of a major life change, in fact, especially if I'm in the midst of a major life change, I have to be honest with myself and with the people closest to me if I'm struggling, if I'm having a hard time, and let them know so that they know how to help me and support me. I wish that I could go back to my younger self and just take her head in my hands and say, you are doing better than you think you are. Whatever you are feeling is okay. Whatever you did today, it was enough. You are not alone. I knew a nurse one time. She was a labor and delivery nurse, so keep that in mind as you hear what she said to me. But she was a labor and delivery nurse, so she had seen people go through lots of pain. And she said, humans are capable of surviving far more pain than they would choose to. So chances are, whatever you are going through right now, you would choose differently if you had the chance to choose, and that's totally normal. It is okay to feel like, I don't want to do this, I wish I didn't have to do this, I wish I had other options. And believe me, if I had a magic wand, I would love to wave it and have your situation be different too. I would love to be able to take some of that pain off of your plate so that things don't feel so hard and so heavy. But there's another quote from this book that really kept me going on the hard days after my son died, and I will read it to you. That was a year where my son died and we moved in the same year, so grief and moving at the same time. And the quote says, pain becomes bearable when we are able to trust that it won't last forever, not when we pretend that it doesn't exist. So we don't have to pretend with ourselves or with the people around us. It is okay to say, I'm having a hard time, I'm hurting. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button. It sends a message to YouTube to show this video to more people, and I would like to help as many as I can. Meanwhile, if you want to keep going, feel free to watch this video right here. I'll meet you there.